Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. It was in 1963 that the Great March on Washington was organized, and the key figure there was Martin Luther King Jr. More than 250,000 people gathered in the National Mall area to stand together for being civil, for being humane. In 1995, the same essence was organized again. This is known as the Million Man March. 1,000,000 people gathered in the National Mall area, again standing for humanity to be more civil, more united. I had referenced these events this week. It was in 2013, that was the 50th anniversary of the Great March on Washington, that we had gone to, a group of young adults. This is a lovely experience. I'm bringing this up again because we're going to pause and I'm going to ask you a reflective question for which you can answer now in the chat, including on Instagram and Facebook, or you can email our team. Our community has been together now for 7.5 years. And so the question is, I'm reading it out to you. What do you feel is the single most significant success our community has facilitated? I'll read it again slowly. What do you feel is the single most significant success our community has facilitated? By reflecting on the great, on the million, on humanity, on significant success, this helps us to practice yoga. Yoga is perpetual betterment. Please reflect on what I have personally asked you. I am on my way to Cleveland. We're having a team retreat so that we can engage in perpetual betterment. Everyone who's sharing in the chat, I will read all of this later when this is sent to me. This week, we had facilitated a workshop on developing a culture of giving. How many of you joined this workshop by show of hands? In this workshop, I had shared 3 points. The third point on how to develop a culture of giving, it was systemize encouragement. Develop systems to encourage the people you interact with to give. This can be done through efforts, through challenges, understanding what nitya dana is, naimitika dana is, etc. After I'd shared these thoughts, there was a participant from Active Minds, an administrator. We have raised more than $25,000 for Active Minds. It is an organization that helps the mental health of those between the age of 14 and 24. The question posed to him is, what organizations should be involved to help the mental health of those who are young? This was asked to him. And I loved the response he gave. He said, we shouldn't have a scarcity mindset. He's involved in an organization tending to mental health, but he's still sharing the names of other organizations. And I was appreciative of that, that he never felt that helping was a competition, that we are the best organization and nobody else can do what we do. A scarcity mindset is a strong sign of insecurity. You please reflect on your own personality, your vision, your mission. Do you have a scarcity mindset where you feel if you give, you're actually lesser? Or do you feel if you give, you're actually more? I bring all of this up because Shri Krishna has shared 4 systems to encourage us to be sattvic, filled with quietness. If you are moving in this direction, from extrovert to introvert, you will become more secure. We all want it. We all need it. The secure don't have this scarcity mindset of competing. It is the secure who are able to follow through with renouncing, surrendering, freedom. The system that we have just completed is on karta, or doer, or what kind of separation do you have from your own center? I'm going to share with all of you now the descriptions of those who are quiet doers, aggressive doers, and lazy doers. Everyone put their right hand up. As I go through these descriptions, if it doesn't apply to you, you feel this does not describe you, then you have to put your hand down. See, if I ask you to put your hand up, then people are too lazy. So now I'm starting with put your hand up, and you have to put your hand down if it doesn't apply to you. In verse 26, there are 5 descriptions of the quiet doer. They are independent. If your hand is up, it applies to you. If it's not up, that means it doesn't apply to you. So independent. Next is humble. Next is determined. Next is inspired. Next is balance. How many of you have all 5 by show of hands now? You have all 5 of these qualities. Good. Some of you do. The humble people have their hands up right now. Then, in verse 27, 6 descriptions of the aggressive doer are shared. Everyone's hands are up. I'm starting to share these 6. If it doesn't apply to you, put your hand down. Dependent. Anxious. Greedy. Insensitive. Disorganized. Imbalanced. Do any of you have all 6? Often when I ask about these negativities, some people are so happy that they have all of these negativities. If you're proud of it, you're never going to grow out of it. The point about disorganization is something I feel we tend to justify, not realizing it is a sign of Raja. 5 descriptions, 6 descriptions. In verse 28, that is the end of this system, there are 8 descriptions. These are really awful characteristics. Everyone's hands are up. Doesn't apply to you. Bring them down. Here's what these are: distracted, vulgar. I don't see any hands up. Oh, I see one hand up still. Stubborn, cheating, malicious, inactive, dejected, and my favorite, Dirga Sutri, which means procrastinating. Yesterday I was calling my children Dirga Sutris, and they were calling me back, so we were having a Dirga Sutri war yesterday. I want to zoom into procrastinating because that is the last description, then we move on to the next verse. Anyone who feels that they're going to be happy by a change of their context, they are a procrastinator. If you're planning to be happy tomorrow, you are a procrastinator. Many who feel after their kids are out of college, after their grandkids are settled, then they're going to be sattvic. In a very strong sense, you're going to die before you become sattvic. Be careful not to be a procrastinator. Remember Ravana. Ravana told Sri Lakshmana, Shubhasya Shigra. If you have a noble thought, act on it quickly. There should be no time. He never followed. Ravana never followed that. That is good advice. We continue into a transition verse. Shri Krishna set up 3 systems. There's a transition verse. He's now setting up 2 more. Verse 29. Buddhir bedam dhritischaiva gunatastrividam shrunu prochamanam asheshena pretatvena dhananjaya. Joy. Buddhehe bedam, differences in understanding, as well as dritehe, differences in determination. Understanding and determination. Gunataha trividam shrunu, listen to these differences that are 3 in expression that are based on the gunas of laziness, aggressiveness, and quietness. Prochamanam asheshena, I am going to speak this out. I am going to teach this. This is my own experience, and I will do so fully. Pretatvena, I will do so in detail. Dhananjaya, the one who knows what is valuable. This is the translation, now sharing one reflective point. We have completed systems on renunciation, vision, mission, separation. Now the next 2 systems that are coming up are on understanding and determination. What's very practical about this, understanding is like jnana, and determination is like karma. You should understand and then determine. You should know and then act. Naturally, we want to be of the quality of quietness, the quieter you are. This will sound poorly, but try to work with this. Quieter equals totaler. The more quiet the individuality is, the more one tunes in, sinks in with the totality. We come back to the Great March, the Million March, the most significant success. The more quiet you become, the more of a humanitarian you become. What a legacy. We can cultivate this. From inspiration to application. How many of you listened to You Got It by Roy Orbison? What a lovely song. Today was an extra reflective morning for me. And as I was listening and reading the lyrics too, I had to work so hard not to be emotional and start to tear up. What particularly moved me was the two lines that share. I live my life to be with you. Isn't Sri Krishna living his life to be with us? These are his words. They're not your words or my words. And no one can do the things you do. You are that special that only you can do what you can do. This is a devotion-filled song. And so in the spirit of awesome songs, I now want you to listen to Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. Many of you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say Roy Orbison or Enjoy the Silence. So I always have to preface this with, I want you to reflect on what's beyond quietude. It is silence. That's what this song is about. Shanti. 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 Please be sure to answer my question. Be joy.